Hello, everyone. Welcome to what I believe is the first session of the Tech Social of this year. So I'm pretty excited. My name is Gabi. I'm the host of this podcast, as always, and Edgar is here with me as the moderator. And we want to talk about today about this AWS event that happened last month, the reInvent one. And we are not talking about just the announcements. We want to go deeper into what it actually means in the real world. And we are joined by Miguel Diaz, who attended this event in person. And he spent like a week immersed in these sessions, the keynotes, and the conversations, and the energy of this event. So we are genuinely curious about everything that you heard and what stood out for you, and just know all the lessons that you are bringing back to us today. So again, this is meant to be a conversation with practical, honest, and grounded in real experiences from Miguel. And with that said, I'll hand it over to Edgar to get us started.
Thank you, Gabi. Yeah, so definitely by the time that we were seeing the pictures that you posted, Miguel, and mainly all the energy that really seemed to be there, right? We were really curious and excited to know more about what happened in the event, what things got your attention, and in particular, how the announcements that were made are really reflecting in the real world from that point on, right? So, that being said, please tell us a bit more about how your experience started and when did you start planning for the event, for example, and how was your overall trip? And then what happened on that first day when you arrived to the conference?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Edgar and Gabi. Yeah, the event was there from December 1st to December 5th. But that point is very relevant. We had to buy the tickets like many months before because, as you probably know, we had the event had like around 60,000 people. So that was crazy. And actually, as you can see, the demand, the hotels, the flights, everything was uh, collapsed because uh, i it feels like a small city of tech people in one place, and that's why we had to prevent buying everything like many months before the event. So, and yeah, and I think I can start talking about uh, before the conference when I traveled to the US and I arrived to the Las Vegas, and it was very crazy to see a lot of tech people, thousand of people running because you needed to get your access, your ID. So, and as you can and you probably know, we had a lot of a lot of diversity, right? Like a lot of Indian and Japanese mainly. I don't know why, but was a lot of people from Japan. And actually it was very hard. Again, a lot of tech people running everywhere. And I remember I arrived there to the hotel around 3 a.m. and that was Sunday. And then I had to sleep a bit, and then I was there in the in the first conference around 7 a.m. So obviously that's crazy because you don't have enough energy. You are very tired, but at the same time, that the first day there's a lot of chaos, a lot of complications during the event, and actually you don't understand, right? You don't understand what is the process. So you need to ask what is the next step, or you just need to follow the lines of the people running and trying to get to the events. But yeah, then I started to understand the flow. And like I spent basically the whole week recording. So day one, I was trying to film everything like a blogger, and it was very hard because I am introvert, and so talking to a camera in public felt awkward at first. But by the last day, I was in this mood, like super comfortable and just recording everything and enjoying it. So and that was the dynamic. We had like keynotes at the beginning, early, and then the whole day it was you just needed to go to the forums. So that was the how can I say that the dynamic. So talking about the situation I saw there in the Vegas, for me it was like very very impacted because I was walking through these, how can I say that, slot machines on one side and thousand of geeks on the other side, or running, trying to get specific sessions. So, and imagine having 60,000 of IT guys trying to get slots for specific conferences. So the security lines were long, specifically for the first day, because you needed to check that your back check, and especially for the keynotes, you the lines were very very long. And obviously you had this dynamic between getting coffee or everywhere. The lines were very very long. But specifically for the first day, I don't know what happened during the next days, that suddenly everything, it was like a calm. This is- that was very 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 weird. I don't know what happened, but that was the dynamic.
No, and
Mhm.
I think that the first day, like listening to your experience, I guess it was the same for everyone else.
Hmm.
Nobody really understood the dynamic,
Yeah.
um, the process, what you needed to do. Everyone was running. After the first day, okay, everyone, I guess everyone were like, okay, yeah, I understand now. I know where to
Correct.
go. I know what to
Hmm.
do. So, yeah, the next days, yeah, they were probably easier for everyone.
Hmm.
And that's
Mhm.
what you felt as well.
Yeah, yeah, that was the situation. Actually, I remember having a lunch because they prepared like a very big space for the lunch, and that the logistic it was crazy. Imagine having thousand of people, and having only from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Okay, for breakfast, for example. And you're seeing a lot of people trying to get a seat for lunch, for breakfast. So I remember a day having my lunch in a long table in my one sitting, right, and I was chatting with people from mainly from Latin America, but also with India, from India, Germany, Brazil. So and was crazy. The community vibe is something special because everybody is in the same mindset, right? Like everybody talking about AWS, a lot. Basically, every developer or IT guy understand AWS.
Mhm.
So that vibe was interesting.
Cool. So, what was the first thing, Miguel, that you felt was like surprising to you, or that you thought, wow, this is really a topic that I want to know more about while being in the conference? That happened the first day, or was rather at some other point during the conference?
Mainly the first day. I mean, in terms of the location, the sessions are spread across multiple hotels. So
Mm.
we
Oh.
had like yeah, I remember we you need to, actually you sometimes needed to take a bus because you need to move between the Venetian, the Caesars, the area. So and you will see that you was seeing that the flow everywhere, right? But that was very impacted to me was the expo hall, like like it's huge, like 100 booths from cloud, software, startups, everything there. Like it feels like Disneyland to me, like a tech Disneyland, like a because and actually as you see exactly what's happening with this strong dependency we have the whole industry using AWS because a lot of companies, so for example, WhatsApp was there, or several companies that sometimes you understand that they are like the competitors, right, to AWS.
Mhm.
In the end, you see they are using AWS. So, for example, SAP was there, like many sectors. For example, from food sectors, right? They were using AWS and they are showing demos and flashy setups. So probably that one, the expo hall, like oh man, that's crazy, and everything was happening at the same time, right? With a lot of people coding, uh, playing, like so. For example, GitHub created a boot, like a very interested boot because uh, you can access you access to the boot and you basically started to play several video games, but you needed to have like a coding skills to continue playing. So and it was very interesting to see that like a lot of innovation, a lot of imagination, creating this like amazing experience.
Wow, that sounds pretty cool. And did you participate in any of these events? Did you code anything during your stay? What's the experience of coding there, like alongside other people in an event?
I participated in specific sessions, like several challenges,
Hmm.
but it was very hard because, for example, I participated in a challenge where you needed to create a security layer in AWS, combining specific services in AWS, such as Cognito and specific layers with CloudFront. But the speaker, the host for that event was like the IT director uh, there in Cognito. Imagine, and obviously you had a problem. This guy was helping you. It's like, oh man, this guy created Cognito and now he's helping me. So that experience was very amazing. And I remember, for example, for that one, I completed the challenge in 3 hours because I needed to research, to try something, to code something to connect or to set up specific pieces there in AWS in a sandbox. But as a curious thing there is like you was the first one completing the challenge. You at the end you earned I forgot, like I forgot the term.
Mhm. Like
I
a
got
like a pulli,
Badge.
a
a,
sweater.
a sweater, like
Oh,
a gold sweater. So obviously, I never won several of them, but this peculiar thing there is like a lot of Japanese people started to won. A lot of
To
people.
get one.
So yeah, so during the event, you started to see a lot of Japanese people getting those sweaters. Like, oh, man, that's crazy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it was
That's
amazing, like because you had uh to prepare everything, right, setting up everything, but at the same time you need to create this code and to see exactly what was happening, and you got specific feedback from the original creators of their of AWS products. So that was amazing.
nice. So now that you were mentioning about coding, right, and getting to complete these exercises, what happened with people? Did you notice people using AI trying to solve these exercises, or was more like coding manually and like old style kind of stuff?
Actually, uh, you was participating on those challenges. You
Mhm.
had a sandbox AWS environment, but you had a second tab there in your browser in your computer with Kiro. Okay, yeah, Kiro is a copilot for coding, and you actually had the option to do that. But
Mm.
at the same time, because as you were using your laptop, you personally I used several AIs because it was very hard to follow everything without a copilot. So, but yeah, I saw many people using ChatGPT, Claude, and Kiro, and it was very interesting because everything was there connected, trying to help you to the through the challenge. But obviously, the host the whole time was saying, "Okay, please use Kiro because Kiro is amazing," and because it was part of the AWS environment. But yeah,
Mhm.
I saw those combinations between the AI copilot and your environment there in the sandbox.
Okay. And what about this particular AI? Did you use it? Did you like it, Kira?
I saw several demos.
Uh-huh.
They created a boot
Hmm.
where you basically need to research about a specific problem, and you were there inside a small house trying to research what was happening there. And the animation, a small ghost was there helping you, interacting with you.
Mm.
So that was amazing. And I also saw those guys that the makers, okay, uh, building things like IoT and robots
Hmm.
using Kiro for example,
Mm.
with
Oh, wow.
those relays, with those Raspberry Pis or Arduinos, but they were interacting directly with the hardware, and at the same time they were using Kiro to build those components. That was interesting.
Nice. Sounds pretty cool. And I guess in general in the world these days we see plenty of AI use cases and AI technology being announced. In particular, was there anything in the AI space that you thought was worth exploring during or after the event? Is there anything that caught your attention?
They presented this Amazon Nova 2, the specific models they have built from scratch. So, and they also presented like those foundation models. Okay, so they have like now a suite of specific models.
Mhm.
So, for example, they have the layer Nova 2, but they split it, the model in a specific types of models. So, for example, they have similar than ChatGPT or Gemini, right? Like they have Nova 2 plus Lite, or Nova 2 Pro, Nova 2 Sonic, Nova 2 Omni. So, for example, as we know, right? For example, we have in specific models, we have the Lite version and the Pro version. But what is very interesting there in with AWS is this model, the Nova 2 Omni. So the Nova 2 Omni is basically the same than Pro, but in a multimodal model. So that seems they will connect as soon as possible this model to Alexa, for example, because this model can receive text, images, video, audio. So I saw several demos there, and it was interesting. So, and I really liked the approach they have, because there in the AWS you can choose specific models, and for example the Nova 2 Sonic, they have real time voice conversations with a lot of fluency.
Mm.
So yeah, I really liked that the way they're split it, everything, and how they are creating those some use cases. So that was very interesting.
Okay. And speaking, you were talking about these multimodal models, right? That basically
Hmm.
can take audio or images or text. Did you see any particular innovation in terms of the user interface or in general how users interact with tools that that you liked? Like, I'm thinking that we may start seeing things voice controlled, for example, as you were saying with
Hmm.
Alexa. But is there anything that got your attention there
Yeah,
on that space?
yeah, good point. Actually, they are pushing to change the mindset about the UI. Actually, they are trying to create this new concept called the conversational UI. Okay,
Mm.
so what they are trying to do is like a kind of like UI through a conversation. Okay, so you obviously will see your screen. Okay, as usual, as the current paradigm we have. But this screen is not a common UI or front end screen, right? Because that will be basically a chat, but the chat will change in specific views based on the conversation. Okay. So, for example, right now, if you see in your mind chat GPT, we have this traditional approach, right? Like we have a text box with an enter, and you are able to chat as WhatsApp. But with
Mhm.
this new approach they have specifically for Nova 2 with Kiro and Bedrock, the screen will change based on that conversation. For example, if you are creating a shopping cart, the conversation will be there. The first input there in the conversation will be a conversation, right? An input. But suddenly, probably the screen will change, showing the items for that specific search. So that's the interesting thing, because it seems the whole industry is trying to change this paradigm, right? Like doesn't matter if you are seeing the screen, you can talk, or you can see specific elements, you can pick specific elements, and then a new conversation will start. So we're seeing now this new level, right, of interaction without this pain we have when we are using devices that you need to type something, and you need to wait for the response. That's the main change I saw, and I saw several demos about it.
Mm. That sounds pretty exciting. I mean, it almost sounds like if they were trying to read what you are thinking based on your input, and then you would start seeing things coming around
Hmm.
based on
Hmm.
what you want, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, I think I definitely would like to see that applied later in enterprise systems.
yeah.
What I'm thinking is how you can navigate through the data, right, and start picking things and
Mm.
collecting things, but everything happening in real time. I think that would be pretty exciting to see. Okay. Um, yeah. So, Gabby, what do you think in general from what Miguel has shared with us? Is there anything that you would like to highlight or any questions that you may have for him?
Oh yeah, I have plenty. No, I love the whole experience that he had and all the learning. So I really want to know a little bit more about that. Because for those that don't know, Miguel, and he said it at first, Miguel recorded a lot and created like more than 20 posts, I think, on LinkedIn that everyone is welcome to go and check if you want to like know more. But I was thinking, based on the content that I saw Miguel posting, is that many sessions focus on automation and agent based like system and making decisions and like working across workflows. So about that, I wanted to know like what stood out, and like personally, what do you think, or where do you think humans still need to stay like very hands on, no matter how advanced the automation becomes?
Okay, good point. I'm actually very interested because I saw a keynote. Okay, that actually was like a several the last one, the last keynote from this the host the speaker, sorry, it was the Dr. Werner Bowels. This guy is the AWS CTO. So he delivered a keynote that felt inspiring and honestly a bit emotional because probably you can see that keynote there right now in YouTube. You can actually the keynote. Did you look for it? It's like AWS reInvent 2025 keynote with Dr. Werner Bowels. Oh man, it's that's amazing actually. Like because he started to with a fun video to review how the technology is changing through the years and how in every year in every new technology everybody was saying like now this is done, now we don't have future, we cannot continue uh, working with these new technologies because everything is now automated, right? So during that keynote, the Dr. Werner talked about this idea of the Renaissance developer. I'm not sure if that I'm pronouncing correctly, like a Renacimiento, Renaissance developer.
Mm-hmm.
So the point there about this keynote is like if you as developer are curious and if you continue thinking about the systems and trying to create something new or creating this now cross disciplines, right? So if you are there pushing yourself trying to understand what's the next point, in an AI future, we need to be like Leonardo da Vinci of code, right? That was the main idea, and that was amazing because now you have a lot of technologies, and you don't need to spend time coding, right? Because right now, specific thinking is now automated. I remember a lot of time trying to code something uh, doing step by step, right? Validating every point, every point. For example, you was creating a login layer in a front end application. I remember your mind was saying, okay, now I need to create this specific piece of code that will help to create uh, like a private routes, right? Once this one is done, then I'm gonna proceed with the user and password, and I'm gonna send that information to the backend. So, but now you just need to prompt that feature. That's it, right? So, and he addressed this big fear, right? Like AI taking our jobs. But the question was there, like, will AI take my job? Maybe, but the will AI make me obsolete? And the answer was obsolete not if you involve. And actually, that line stayed with me like it's a kind of reminder, right? That if you keep learning, you probably you'll be fine. So, and actually, that's the main idea. I'm not sure if that idea is correct, but it was very very inspiring to me. But what we are seeing right now is like as developer or as a consultant, you have a like a rich environment with AI tools, with infrastructure, and you just need to connect everything, and you just need to create something. That's the main idea, and I agree with that idea. It's like because we have also seen that scenario in our current developments, in our current projects inside Cogent, where we basically are with a small team, we are building like a bigger things, right? So that's why instead of having this fear about these new technologies, I feel now we are being, or we're gonna be a AI builder, right? Trying to create something for every sector. And actually that's the main idea that AWS was trying to push everywhere during the event. And I agree definitely with that idea.
Nice. Yeah, thank you. You were just saying and talking about us as a company, and you were representing us, right, while
Hmm.
being there, also as an individual learner. So I'm curious to know, like, did that uh, responsibility change how you experienced the event or what you pay attention to? Like, for example, after those 5 days, did you have like one thing that you immediately knew you wanted to do differently when you were back at work?
Oh, very good question, Gabby. I don't know how to answer that, but uh, what I no, it's very hard to answer that one because from specific side, I was a kid there. I was seeing a lot of innovations, a lot of people building things, a lot of sector. For example, I saw a big booth about sports. So, for example, ESPN, a lot of like football uh, teams was there, and they were explaining. For example, in Germany, a lot of soccer teams are using AWS. So I was like very involved there, right? Trying to understand exactly how they are building things. But from the other side, specifically there in the booths, I saw a lot of AI hype bubbles because,
Okay.
and actually, that was a kind of fear from my side because I felt like, is this level of excitement sustainable? I mean, some moments felt like a bubble-ish, right? Like a moment, and the whole time I tried to see or to stop a bit based on what we are seeing internally in Cogent versus what the industry is doing, right? And I also saw, because that's a very good point, because, and actually I don't know if if that's appropriate to say, but I saw, for example, a lot of startups adding the same product, but at the end, just they just added powered by AI, right? The good thing we have internally in Cogent is like we started in 2025 to offer AI, right? Through mainly through AWS. But what we are seeing, based on our experience, is like that the specific industries, they are not ready. They are not ready for the AI. So, and now we are seeing exactly what's happening, and we are identifying like the AI readiness, right? Like sometimes a client is saying, okay, we need uh, an AI product because everybody's using this AI. But what we are doing right now in Cogent is to identify that they are not ready. And actually, for me, that has a lot of value, right? Because as a consultants, we can say, okay, if you wanna get this product, you need to build all of this, right? So what I saw there through the event, like this balance, right? It's like okay, everybody's trying to sell AI, but internally, based on what we are working in specific projects, we can identify what is the real need, and from there we can build something to get or to get this new goal that is the AI. So, and I actually that I could understand that idea, and at the same time I saw like a several demos that now we are implementing in internally, right? And now we are this guidance to say, okay, if we're gonna implement this new technology, we need to follow this path. So that's basically what I saw there. I'm not sure if I
Mhm.
explained correctly the idea, but yeah, again, it was very hard, right? Because a lot of cross roads was there.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's very true that you go to a conference where you're seeing AI everywhere, and you really think about implementing those things back at work, right? And
Hmm.
but it's also true that to for that to be something that you can implement, you really need to get to that level. And I think something that sometimes we're missing in that hype is that not everything needs AI in terms of enterprise solutions, right?
Hmm.
In enterprise software. But it is also true that AI can help build the things that don't need AI, at least
Hmm.
immediately. So it's like this game where you are, like using AI in one way or the other. But in the
Hmm.
end, as long as you have clear in your mind that if you want to implement AI, you need to go that route, right? And follow the steps.
Hmm.
You would eventually be in a position to implement solutions that use AI not in a simple way, but rather you start seeing more and more things actually getting automated. So definitely, I agree with you there, Miguel. And I think, Gabi, we are all in the same channel that it's true that AI might not be there at the beginning for every project, but you can start planning to it, right? And start
Hmm.
building towards that.
Correct.
So that foundation it's always essential.
And you know what?
And
There during the event, sorry, Edgar, AWS
mhm,
kept repeating something like a very important, like a responsible AI.
mhm,
So almost every AI conversation, specifically there in the keynotes, included this layer, like please implement AI. We are ready as company. AWS has the support, but in every implementation, include governance, security, guardrails, and they were saying the whole time, like, please, responsible AI, responsible AI, and you receive that message like,
Mm.
yeah, that's amazing. You'll see amazing things, but with a lot of responsibility. And yeah, that
Mm.
so was good.
Yeah, that's also a good highlight, I think. And I think in practice, I don't know if it's part of something that it must be part of every project, right? But when you see these flashy things, the first thing that you want to do is just go and implement it and see it running. But
Hmm.
that doesn't mean that it's ready for production, right? So
Yeah,
sometimes I've seen news lately where people are
correct.
not adding those guardrails, and at the same time, people getting, or not exactly people, but companies getting at risk, right? Because they
Hmm.
are not implementing these security features or these governance features. And it's also true that given that we are just starting working with AI applications, in particular, if we talk about LLMs and
Hmm.
everything related to that, there's still plenty to discover in terms of how to make
Correct.
them secure, right? So it's not
Hmm.
just yeah, be responsible and at security and
Yeah.
guardrails. But the truth is that there's so much more beyond
Correct.
that you still need to understand and to implement, right?
Hmm.
And finally, I think that also takes us to how things are evolving. In the more you implement, the more you know, right, on how to implement these tools. So I'm also curious about agents, right? Because everybody is saying agents, and it also comes into the conversation because of how things are getting implemented these days. But in your opinion, based on what you saw, are agents really ready to start handling enterprise applications? And based on what you saw, are there many applications already there happening, or not that many?
Okay. I think AWS is ready. Okay. In terms of the infrastructure and the way they have connected to different models, as they have specific agents in AWS, they also have an ecosystem, right? So they are able to set up like many technologies outside AWS. So, and actually have seen that one, right? For example, internally we have created like specific initiatives and specific projects. We have connected agents and we are getting like a good results. But there, I'm not sure. I saw like a splitted demos. I saw agents there, but during the conferences they were saying, okay, yeah, this will work on that way, but I really didn't see exactly the end-to-end implementation through the agents. I don't know why. Probably I lost like specific conferences with real demos. But yeah, I think they are ready because they right now AWS has from hardware like Graviton 5, right? That is specific hardware technology to AI services like Nova, Bedrock. So definitely AWS is setting the space and they are ready. That's my
Mm,
current understanding.
okay. And what happens, for example, to storage? Because whenever we are talking about cloud technologies, right, and we think about enterprise applications for those technologies, that
Hmm.
means that the data needs to travel from the on-prem locations to
Hmm.
AWS or any other cloud provider. So did you see anything in that space in terms of how they are making that reliable, that transmission or that storage? In particular, in terms of the application they have for it for AI. I mean, I think that's a big topic. Did you
Yeah,
see anything in particular?
uh, I understand now they have a robust technology in terms of the data lakes, actually.
Mm.
And I also saw they are switching like many models from on premise to serverless approach. even with the data. And they also said like they are ready with this new infrastructure, with these new uh, senders with new servers. And actually they are trying to change even the to Graviton 5. They are trying to change the way they are hosting everything. But I again, the conversation was like a very general, and I couldn't see because obviously my profile is more from coding. I didn't choose specific topics about the data lakes or these kind of topics. But yeah, probably we'll need to research about it, and probably that can be a second conversation because that's interesting topic.
Okay. Yeah. No. And what about? I guess was this your first AWS reInvent conference? Would you go
Yeah,
back for this year? If
definitely. If that is possible, yeah, definitely I will, because that's a great experience. Yeah, yeah,
Mm,
and I understand why the cost, the budget, and everybody wants to be there, because that's definitely a great experience.
super cool.
I
Okay.
have,
Yes, Gavi, please.
yeah, I have another question that I would say it sits on the opposite side of my previous one, which was like, what did you learn about automation, agents, etc. But I understand that you saw how AWS is like evolving from tools to like full platforms that can shape how developers think and work. Now, do you or what do you think developers will need to unlearn in the next few years to be able to keep up?
Good point. Uh, I think now we are living that transition, Gabi. Right now, we don't have at the moment specific teams for backend or for front end. What we need to do, I think, is to be in every area of the environment or the system, and having this clarity that you need to create to see the overall, right? But
Mhm.
even more important than this technical approach, I think that the biggest one, the biggest change, is to be good understanding requirements, negotiating requirements directly with the client. From there, if you understand exactly what's happening right now with the specific pain points, with the requirements, with the budget. From there, you just need to prompt to create a prompt to the AI, and you will be there, right? Understanding everything, and everything will be good. That's the main change, because as you know, our profile is like a very technical, right? Sometimes we have also a lot of problems trying to communicate what we think, right? So that's for me the biggest change. Like you need to switch from the technical side to the business side, trying to offer a, a good like a solution. And from there, you now, as technical guide, you understand exactly how to proceed, and you are able to specifically say that you need to do this, and you just need to orchestrate the that requirement right through the building. But that's the main change.
Yeah, makes total sense. So yeah, I have more questions, Ed. I don't know if you want to. We have 10 more minutes. Do you have any other that's maybe more technical?
From my side, I think overall we covered different topics, and I think in general, um, when we talk about AI, there are many other aspects, right? Like the energy, the infrastructure, as Miguel was saying. But to me, it was interesting to know how AWS is building this landscape as such, this platform where we can go and every time that we come back, we can see different things that we can start connecting instead of having to create
Hmm.
things from scratch. I think that's pretty much, if I got it right, Miguel, the message that they were sharing, right? That now it's going to be easier for you to build AI
Correct.
solutions because
Hmm.
they are creating that environment, that ecosystem. And then
Correct.
I guess that they are also providing these governance and security tools to help you while creating these AI applications. So that's what I'm taking from Miguel's experience and what he shared with us today from the technical side. But of course, Gabi, I would like to know more about the questions that you were asking because were pretty good, and they were also making me wonder,
Oh no,
like
please.
what's happening with me, yeah, about this. Yeah.
No, it's more what I'm curious to know now is just more about like your personal experience. For example, you mentioned how chaotic was the first day, and
Hmm.
then the next couple of days were easier. And so after those 4 or 5 days of learning and walking and running and processing all those new ideas, um, do you think, or how did you feel the first day versus the last day? Like, was it any different? Were you like on a different position mentally to like take it all in, understand, like compared to the day one with all the chaos? And what's like the AI learnings that you walked away with after the whole conference was like over?
Mm, okay. Yeah, at the beginning, obviously, I was very overwhelmed. Everything was a problem to me. But yeah, every day I started to understand exactly how to proceed, and actually started to schedule my day. It's like, okay, started to organize exactly my time, and I identified my free time, right, to go to the, for example, to the expo hall, to record. And I started to plan exactly, like, okay, for tomorrow I'm gonna go to this booth, and I'm gonna create a reel or a video with this content. And actually, the event was from 7 a.m. to sometimes to 9 p.m. Like the
Wow.
whole day you were there, seeing things, talking with people, or participating in a challenge or in a session. But then I everything what I recorded through the day. Then I once everything was finished, I needed to edit my videos, to share content there in LinkedIn. So then, after several days, around the 4 and 5 day, I was there in that mood, like, okay, now I need to do this, and finally, and suddenly the whole day like ended, like with this rhythm, like that was very interesting. But obviously, I was exhausted. I ended the whole journey like exhausted, like I felt like I lost like several years there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I bet. So structure and scheduling helped you. That's what I
a lot.
understand. And
Correct.
you created amazing content, which I already said. You can go and check Miguel's profile on
Oh yeah,
LinkedIn to
please.
go through everything. But yeah, so finally, what was like the AI learnings that you uh, took with you? What stood out the most? What was something that you said, this is why I came for? Like, I'm
Okay.
happy to just have listened to this keynote or this expo or anything, so
Okay.
something like that.
In general, internally, the technical team is very curious in Cogent, right? But I felt like I had like many ideas or many components split it, right? The process, what we are doing, is a process where based on our experience in specific projects. Being there in in the AWS reInvent, I I could connect everything. That's the biggest experience and what I loved being there. It's like because through the examples, for example, through the specific use cases, I could validate what we are doing internally. It's like, oh yeah, we are doing this. Check. And
Nice.
okay, I didn't, for example, in specific scenarios with governance, I got like a many feedback, like a many tips. I say, okay, now, and I remember actually with the sharing with the security team in Cogent, like, oh, we should implement this idea because that's amazing. And I saw an implementation with a Germany team doing this, and yeah, that feedback helped a lot. It's like, and seeing from in several slides, whole implementation end to end, seeing exactly what they are doing and trying to compare what we are doing internally, that was amazing and that helped a lot.
Great, great to know. Um, well, Edgar already asked you this, like if you would come back, and you said, of course. But like overall, would you like recommend this to everyone else, or only if you are a developer? Like, what are your thoughts in terms of who can attend this meeting to like benefit from or get, a lot of insights from?
So it was for Edgar or for me?
No, it was for you. Sorry.
No. Okay. Mm, I think right now AWS is building these kind of highways, right, for the AI future.
Mhm.
So I think it's a good time to learn about these agent platforms to have like a better implementations and to connect with this global networking we can get with this kind of events, right? So yeah, that's the I'm not sure if the final closing I have like AWS and the tech community
Mhm.
are implementing these tools in a way that truly helps the business and people. And yeah, that's the you wanna see. Actually, I didn't get the whole point, Gabby. Sorry, but you wanna get these new ideas, or you wanna be there trying to see what's happening in the around the AWS environment. You probably gonna need to be there, trying to understand what's happening around the new AWS environment.
Definitely. Yeah, you answer my question. Like you would definitely recommend this to everyone. I mean, everyone
Hmm.
interested in what AWS is doing and agents and AI like in general. So
Hmm.
that's what I get. All right, guys. So we have 1 minute left. Miguel, thank you so much for doing this with us. It's been great to hear and see everything that you experienced in those 5 days. Very happy you went there and learned this much, and I hope you can go again. Edgar, what about you? Would you like to go to one of these conferences?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, I felt transported by the time Miguel was telling us what he felt and experienced. So that's definitely something I would like to explore and experience too, right? So maybe next year or this year, actually.
This year.
We should be
Yeah,
there.
this year.
Yes.
Yeah. Good, good.
Cool. Yes.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. Does any of you have any closing comments, or are we good to just close the event?
No, I think based on Miguel's input, I think it would be worth it to review again the announcements, right? Go over
Mhm.
now with more context and start experimenting. I think that's always the most important part. You get hands-on, and then with that experience, you start building. So that would be my closing comment.
From
Yeah.
my
Great.
side, the invitation is there to go to the AWS events in YouTube, and you will see
Okay.
the keynotes.
Right.
So that's specifically that one, the keynote with Dr. Werner Vogels. That's amazing. Can take a look.
Great.
And thank you so much.
All right. No, thank you, Miguel, and thank you, Ed, for always being here moderating. Thank you, everyone that joined us. We'll be back with another session in February. Thanks again for being here, and have a good one, everyone. Bye bye.